good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you are in. Welcome, welcome. I am Skeptically Speaking.
And I'm Sweet Pea from across the pond. Hey, everyone.
And this is Skeptically Speaking because, yes, of course it is. Thank you so much. We have a porn again Christian watching porn on the job. What a job. What a job. I mean, who wouldn't want that kind of a job where you could just watch whatever you want, waste as much time as you want? Because obviously, man, he's got time to waste. Making porn great again. If you want more independent media in your life, please consider supporting the show. You can support us on Cash App, Venmo, Patreon. Please send us your hard-earned dollars. We'd appreciate it. Your contribution will help keep us afloat and make this show possible. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you are in. You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram, Twitter. I'm dead naming it. Did I say Instagram? Yes, I did. Threads, and now Substack. Welcome, welcome all. Well, who knew? I'm going to let you start. Continue.
But I was just thinking, do you think he got a stiff reception at work?
I'm sorry, but that's too easy. I am not walking through that door. I mean, the man was hard at work. Hard working. He is hard working. All right, he works hard. He's working while hard. Listen, all I'm saying is this man, give this man a hand. Yes, for the hard working man. This is Ryan Walters. And that's...
You really got yourself in a sticky situation.
Yeah, almost. And he got caught watching it because somehow he was streaming it probably from his phone and it was connected to a monitor, or the monitor that it was on was connected to his computer that he was using. Either one. I mean, look. This is what happens when you deny yourself. When you're told, it's wicked, it's evil, it's filthy, and then you try your best to abstain. And again, I'm telling you, eventually you're going to wig out. You are going to crash hard. You are going to go right in there. I mean, at work, he couldn't even wait until he got home. Or at least in his driveway. Hell, the driveway, I mean, he could have gotten to the parking lot of his workplace. But he couldn't wait. He had to be watching it in his office. By the way, Gatorade and Heineken isn't bad. It's not bad. I don't know if I do it all the time, but... Ooh.
No.
But if you need electrolytes and you'd like to enjoy a beer, lemon lime, Gatorade, and Heineken, it works. Unless maybe it's just me. I probably have strange taste. Well,
do you know what else?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you know what else works with Heineken? Cherry Coke and Heineken. Actually, it tastes nice. Yeah, cherry Coke and Heineken. It kind of tastes like dark fruits Strongbow.
I can't say that I've had that, but I will take your word for it. I would have thought maybe a mango puree. A nice thick mango puree. And then mix the Heineken. This would go well with something like that, with a little bit of citrus. You know, I mean, it's a pale ale, I guess you could say. I mean, it's not light, but it's a Belgian white is basically what it is.
Yeah, Maybe pineapple juice would be nice with it.
That probably wouldn't be horrid either. So there you go. Heineken and Gatorade. There's I if no one's thought of it first, I just did. So I really don't know how to introduce this story. So Ryan Walters is a fundamentalist right wing dickbag who is sold out to the cult of Trump. This guy is behind book bans. He wants to teach a fake, basically a Christian concocted view of history. He basically worked out a scheme where they would buy these $90 Bibles and distribute them throughout all the schools in Oklahoma.
Of
Now,
course, because
bear in mind, bear in mind, Oklahoma has now ranked 50th in education. They've just dropped a few more points. I Mississippi or Louisiana, one of the two is right. But yeah, they have ranked the worst state in when it comes to education, when it comes to test scores, when it comes to graduation rates, and it is sad. And what is this guy's answer to it? Bibles in schools, like the Bible is going to magically increase the the intelligence level of the children. Like, wow. I mean, this is how twisted these people are. I mean, this is no different than an imam coming in and saying, "Well, we're going to issue out Qurans to all the kids, and this is going to make us smarter."
it doesn't make sense. So they're banning books that will guarantee kids to get a decent education where they can learn actual knowledge. And then they bring in a Bible that has been taken apart and got cut bits of the Constitution in it.
Yeah, I mean, and then
Bits of the Bible cut in it.
right, and then the tank. Oh, by the way, did I not say that this was a Trump Bible? So it's got Trump's face all over it. Mm-hmm. It also has a few select amendments of the Constitution embedded in it, basically equating parts of the Constitution as on par with the Bible. That's pretty wild. A bit blasphemous. It is. But what do I care?
That's where I was getting. That's what I was getting at. It is a blasphemous, cherry-picked Trump sycophant fan book. What
Definitely
are the kids going to learn from that? Nothing.
And you notice, anybody who's actually read through this Bible, or actually read through the amendments that were put in the Bible, not all the amendments made it into the Bible. They actually cut out. Yeah, just like they do the Bible. Who knew?
Oh, exactly. They very carefully picked out the ones that are going to misconstrue and go along with their twisted message of how things should be in their eyes. Now, there's a lot wrong with that because kids are not going to learn things that they need to learn from this sort of cherry-picked Trump sycophant sort of fan fiction.
Show me the statistics of Christian schools. Remember, they used to say that their source of pride was religious right-wing Christian schools are much better than any public school. Yet, public schools beat Christian schools any day of the week when it comes to knowledge of science, mathematics, spelling. I mean, they win in just about every category. And it's like, Christians do not take the hint. They do not take... Nope. They just will not accept truth. They will not accept facts. They will not accept reality. You know? And, we have to argue these things. So, I'm going to read an article from the Rolling Stone, and I want you to ponder. Now, okay, so let me just set the scene, if I may. So they're supposed to have a meeting of the minds, or blah blah blah, and they were supposed to be talking about plans. Um. Anyway, plans of whatnot, and while so there were three people, and there was a parent who was supposed to be working with them to develop lesson plans and whatnot. I can't remember what was on the agenda. And while they're sitting there, the monitor that's right in front, well, the monitor was already going, and apparently there was porn playing, no sound, just the porn. And they walk in and they noticed the monitor was on, but they didn't take any notice because they'd already seen it multiple times. They sit down, and one of the ladies looks over at the monitor and goes, "Oh my God, what is on the monitor?" And she looks closer and like, "Oh my God, these people are naked." That's like, I don't know if it was her first time seeing it or what, but she didn't know what to make of it. And the men, funny thing, the men noticed it first, and they didn't say nothing. They were like, just watching to see what would happen. And I don't. You're gonna see them a little later on, and you tell me if they weren't enjoying it a little too much. And then once Sister Jane piped up and spoke about this evil, they said, "Oh, right. This is bad. This is terrible. Turn it off." Anyway, let's just read this. Rolling Stone: Oklahoma Trump-loving, Bible-thumping superintendent faces porn probe. Yeah, you heard that right. A porn probe. Can you run that by me? What is that? What does that look like?
Well, it depends. Are they doing the porn probe with or without lube? Asking for a friend.
Right up the metaphorical keystroke. Look, two Oklahoma Board of Education members said Ryan Walters was not apologetic after a video of naked women played in his office during a state meeting. This was an official meeting. This wasn't a closed door. Well, I mean, it was a closed door meeting, but it wasn't like, this was official. This is Ryan Walters. You can't see him, but he's speaking at a 2022 rally. An investigation is underway in Oklahoma after a television screen in the MAGA State School Superintendent's office reportedly showed a video of nude women during an executive session of the State Board of Education on Thursday. The images reportedly appeared on the screen in the office of Ryan Walters, Oklahoma's far-right superintendent of public instruction. Walters previously told schools to teach the Bible and 10 Commandments, demand students watch him pray. This motherfucker literally streamed himself praying for Donald Trump, praying for the MAGA takeover of this country, praying, blah, 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 blah. And he wanted every school to stream this to all the kids so that they could watch it and, I guess, take encouragement that this is what they're expected to do and this is what they should do. I mean, well, pray for Donald Trump and named transphobe Chaya Rachik to State Education Committee. Who is Raya Rachik? Do you know?
No, I don't. And I'm not even going to pretend.
She runs a TikTok account.
Okay.
Yeah. Rachik is basically, she goes after transgendered people.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
That's
I need to follow her.
No.
No.
She's behind the anti-LGBT account.
Oh no, I don't need to follow her.
Libs,
She needs to burn.
yeah, Libs of TikTok. Remember that account?
Ew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew.
She was so bad. She was so bad. Oh crap. Now they won't let me read the rest of the article. She was so bad that her own fiance called off their engagement.
I can't blame
I
him.
mean, this woman is unhinged. When you listen to her talk to reporters who try to get a feel for who she is and what she's doing, and yeah, sorry,
I don't
I'm
blame.
not going to subscribe to the Rolling Stone. I don't
No, I
have the
don't blame
money.
him.
Fuck. I should have. You know what? Next time I'm going to take screenshots of the article.
Hang on a
Let
second,
me.
Rolling
I'm going
Stone.
to. You know what? I'm going to pull it up on my phone. I'll bet you it'll let me do it too. But yeah, so this moron Ryan Walters names her. Um, let's see. Basically offered her an education within the department and is paying her. This person doesn't know shit about fuck. Let's do Rolling Stone. And then we'll do Ryan Walters.
Oh, that's a good idea, right? I'm not subscribing.
So yeah,
No.
so he basically um well, he tried to use state money to purchase Bibles for classrooms that match specifics of those marketed by the president and his family. So you know who's going to benefit from the Bibles. As you might expect, Walters has led a crusade against pornography in school libraries. Remember the book bans we mentioned earlier? This is the
Yep.
guy
Yep.
who's behind the book bans.
Fuck.
He wants to get rid of all wokeness out of the school libraries. He wants to get rid of anything that has to do with LGBTQ plus. He wants to get rid of anything that has to do with equity, anything to do with Black Lives Matter, anything to do with um what's the term? DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And he went
Yes.
after what he considered pornography. And here he is watching it in his office. Two members of the Oklahoma Board of Education said they were shocked at what they saw on the screen on Thursday. And Becky Carson, she's like, oh, those are naked women. And then I was like, no, wait a minute, those aren't naked. Surely those aren't naked women. Something is playing a trick on my eye. Maybe they just have tan body suits. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
okay, all right, Becky. Nice reach, but yeah, okay. I saw them just walking across the screen, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I even have to use this language, but I'm like, those are her nipples. She used the N word, nipples. And then that's pubic hair. What in the world am I watching? I didn't watch a second longer. Carson told
Yeah, right.
Walters to turn the video off. I was so disturbed by it that I was like very loudly and boastfully, like I was a parent or a teacher, and I said, "What is on your TV? What am I watching?" And he's like, "What? What are you talking about?" Oh, I don't know. And I said, "Turn it off now." And he was like, "What is this? What is this?" And he acknowledged it was inappropriate just by those words. And he was like, "I can't get it to turn off. I can't figure out how to turn it off." I said, get it turned off. So he finally got it turned off, and that was the end of it. He didn't address it, didn't apologize. Nothing was said after that. They just went right back to their meeting. As, I mean, wow. It's no one raised their hand and said, Commander, can we talk about this? Why is there porn on in your office? Because you're so anti-porn. You're our all father of keeping bad things away. How did this happen? How did it slip through? I mean, but what really got me was the denial. You have to listen to the denial. So I've got a clip of him denying everything. This is not true. I mean, this guy learned from the best. Take a look.
What we've seen transpire over the last 5 days is the nastiest, biggest lie ever lodged an official in Oklahoma. I cannot begin to describe the disgusting nature of the lies leveled against me by board members, by the media, and by the teachers union. This has been a coordinated attack to crucify my character and to try to stop the will of Oklahomans and their vision for education in the state of Oklahoma. For the past 5 days, my kids have got to see headlines.
Oh my God. The victimhood of this, the audacity of this guy. A coordinated attack. How is this coordinated?
It's not.
Once you see the... Go ahead.
He's trying to squeeze out of a tight spot. Sorry.
I mean, once you
This is really hard.
Once you see the three chuckleheads that were in that office, you begin to realize how stupid this is. Of all of the things, why in the world, how would they have access to his computer? Well, first of all, if they're making it up, I mean...
Yeah. He just needs to admit that he got caught watching porn at work. And he just needs to deal with the consequences.
Nope.
He just needs to deal with the consequences.
Nope. Won't happen. Nope. That is not the Trumpian way. You deny
no, I know. It's
everything. Deny, and you just keep on going. This is one thing MAGA has learned from following Trump's order. From his...
This is going to get a whole lot harder for him.
More ways than one. Let us proceed.
That are lies. For the last 5 days, my family has watched as a press corps showed why the public has zero trust in their reporting. My family has watched as board members stopped at nothing to stop education reform in the state of Oklahoma. These board members have a lot to answer for, and so does the governor of the state of Oklahoma. Did he direct these board members to lie about me?
Okay, the governor is on his side. The board members are on his side. They are working together to bring about this MAGA plan of taking over the Oklahoma schools. This is the MAGAification. They are on his side. They are his compadres. They are his, for lack of a better word, partners in crime. They're ride or die. These are the people that are working with him to bring about his unhinged plan. And as soon as you see them, you're going to be like, that figures. The governor. He's blaming the governor. The guy who gave him his appointment, if memory serves, isn't he appointed by the governor? Or was he elected? I think he was appointed. I don't see anybody. Well, I can't say that. It is Oklahoma after all. Oh my God. What a way. What a reason to be in the news. You're last in education and your MAGA Superintendent Chrysler is fucking up, fucking off, at work, and he's lying about it with the conviction of Jesus himself. Go ahead.
He was elected by the people of Oklahoma.
You know what? That's on them.
Served the elected Oklahoma superintendent as public instructor since 2023. Yeah, he was elected.
Well, good job, Oklahoma. Well done.
And he will be up for re-election. Oh, he was up for re-election 2 years ago. So, he'll be up for re-election again now in 2027.
And you know what's ironic? The governor cannot get rid of him. The governor will not get rid of him because he needs assholes like this by his side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here we go.
He direct his board members to go in and disrupt everything in these board meetings? Did he have the board fight against bringing private schools into the state for families to have school choice? What exactly directives were they given? We have had our name cleared by both OMES and the sheriff's office. There is nothing scandalous that I was a part of whatsoever.
By the way, he lied about being cleared. He is not cleared at all. As a matter of fact, what's the latest? The Oklahomian, what they found. Oklahoma officials examined Ryan Walters' office TV, and here's what they found. Investigation is underway and allegations of inappropriate images. I mean, how could you recover inappropriate images? How could you prove it, though? Walters denies responsibility, claims to be cleared by state agencies, a claim disputed by the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff has already weighed in and said, no, he's not. In a memo to Oklahoma legislators, the State Office of Management and Enterprise Services says it cannot determine definitively whether or not an incident took place involving images of naked women being shown on a television set in state schools. I mean, this is what this is why. I mean, this is what comes of using shitty office equipment. I mean, you could literally get away. You can literally get away with anything. You know, But yeah, it's just sad. It really is. I mean, they got shitty office equipment, and of course, there's not going to be a trail. I mean, ugh. We are currently awaiting for the word from the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office about the next steps in the investigation, the memo reads. The memo says 3 sheriff deputies joined OMES officials on a visit Monday to the Oklahoma State Department of Education offices inside the Olive Hodge building located in the Capitol complex. According to the memo, they found the television had cable access. Okay, streaming services was connected to an empty DVD player and was equipped with a dipole antenna. Don't ask me what that is. That just sounds old. Dipole antenna. The television was connected to the state's open Wi-Fi network. Okay. If it was streamed in over Wi-Fi, it is possible that they can find what sites were being visited. A one-time passcode was required to access screencasting to the television, limiting the number of people with casting ability to the device. So what does that tell us? There are only a handful of people who have access to that device. And I highly doubt the 3 other people in that room were even capable. I doubt they even had access, because that's not their office. They were just meeting there. The search history on the television was empty because, yes, I mean, he's a moron, but he's not completely stupid. The television previously belonged to a former education agency employee and was relocated to the superintendent's office earlier this month The employee's account was still connected to the YouTube TV, but under a new IP address. Okay. Due to the hundreds of preloaded apps on the television, the streaming services was not given a full review as the television remained on site. Walters told them. Go ahead.
I bet you $100 Brian is going to blame the former employee for the porn being on there.
Or it was already there when I got there. I don't know. Yeah, it was already there.
Yeah, exactly.
But there again, if that were the case, it would actually, they could actually tell when it was, downloaded to the device. But either way.
Yeah.
The memo makes no mention of other devices used by Walters, such as a laptop, computer, or cell phone. So the only device that they were asked to examine is a 55-inch Samsung television in Walters' office. I mean, my God. OMES said the memo, it can only review technology at an agency's request unless it's directed otherwise by the legislature, law enforcement, or court system. OMES also said it cannot review or other state or personal devices without permission from the agency or individuals. During a news conference Tuesday, Walters said multiple investigations had showed his devices were never connected to that TV. He also deflected a question about the TV's content streaming capabilities, described it repeatedly as cable TV. What an old boomer term. I'm sorry. Oh, God. He exited the news conference without saying if he granted the sheriff's office or OMES permission to examine any other devices, like devices where the stuff came from. According to the memo, OMES was informed that wireless hotspots are used in Walters' office during board meetings, but that it could not independently verify that information. OMES can also monitor state wireless networks, the memo says. So I'm sure that he used his cell phone to connect to that device during other meetings. How you let me pull up something on my phone and you can see it on the screen. I mean, that's easy done.
Yeah.
So
it is.
He probably forgot one of his devices was still connected to the monitor. And like I said, he could not wait a minute more. He had to get anyway, he had to get his
So there's a few ways that he could have connected that. Like he could have used the mobile hotspot to connect it, or link to Windows, or he could have used the DeX, which is where you link your phone to the telly. He could have even used Quick Share. He could have even used the Quick Share for, to link to the telly,
Yeah. I mean, this is stuff I have yet to even use. You know what I mean? I mean, now that I have a Android, I probably could do it. I never thought of that. How to connect your phone to your television set. Anyway. That might not be a good idea now that I think about it.
It is quite easy. If you've got a smart TV like I've got, you can connect your phone to your telly, and then if you've got anything on your phone, it goes straight to the telly.
It's a smart TV kind of. I mean, it's old. When you say smart TV, that means already apps that are already on. No, this is it isn't then. And this isn't a smart television. Ours, man, this ours is old as shit, man. Whew.
I got a new Panasonic telly last year, and it was asking me if I want. It was asking if I wanted to. It was asking if I wanted to connect my Samsung with the telly, and I was just like, no, I've got far too much stuff.
Important things that you don't need on this. Anyway, moving on. So
Fuck
Walters
it. I'm not
didn't-
ashamed. I have quite a lot of porn on my phone. I do not want to share on my telly. I'm an adult and I'm not ashamed.
Moving on, Walters said, I have no idea what was on the screen, even though he was told, hey, there's something on your television. Why is this playing? He came around, oh, what is this? What is this? I don't know. I can't get it up. And then he denies having even known what was on there to begin with. My God, this guy is so full of bullshit, his eyes
They
are
have
round.
tablets for that.
Oh, they reached out to the Oklahoma County Sheriff, blah, blah, blah. This is how little they trust this guy. His own partners in crime literally turned him in and started an official investigation. I will let them say it in their own words because... Anyway, let's finish the rest of this moronic... Ugh.
Yes.
And the lies will have consequences. Those individuals that tried to assassinate my character and print and publish things that are demonstrably false and provably false will be hearing from us and all of Oklahomans very, very soon. To be crystal clear, media, liars, you will not stop these reforms coming to Oklahoma. You will not stop the agenda that the people of Oklahoma put me in office to help achieve. We will continue to fight for the parents of Oklahoma. We will continue to ensure that these board members are held accountable. They should resign immediately in disgrace for the lies that they've told. And we should get back to work for the people of Oklahoma.
You know what's ironic about him saying that they should be ashamed of their lies? He's going to continue working with them. They have other meetings coming up. The work of superintendent carries on. They could have had a meeting just today. You know? And
yeah.
This is all bluster. He's going to continue working with them. He will not stand on principles. If he actually thought they were a detriment, if he actually thought that these people were out to stop him and his agenda, why would he continue working with them? Why wouldn't he go to the governor and say, hey, I want these people gone. I'm not doing any more work. I'm not going to be working with them. I don't want any meetings with them, but they're going to meet again. And I'm going to let the superintendents say exactly what's going to happen. Let's continue.
We've seen these attacks on President Trump. We've seen these attacks on others. I've been through a new political controversy, fake controversy attack nearly every week. But I haven't seen anything as scandalous of a lie of what we've seen pushed out about me and my character over the last 5 days. When you decide to lie about me in the way that several have, there will be consequences for those lies. For trying and going to any extent to harm the people of Oklahoma, and that's really what this is about. If I wasn't out fighting for the parents of Oklahoma, none of this would happen. But the reality is, there's so many in the press, the opponents of what we're doing, they despise the work being done by Oklahomans, they despise the will of the people, and they will stop at nothing to ensure that that's stopped. They have proven that over the last 5 days. There is nothing out of the bounds for what the media, what sellouts to the teachers union will do to stop families' rights from being protected. I won't back away from this fight, just like all of the hardworking Oklahomans out there every day. They will continue to have me fighting for them to ensure these things get done. Any questions?
With the office set up, there's no state board members there, like you have your back to this TV and they were doing on that showing. Are you saying that's untrue? Can you talk about the setup in there? Can anything cast on that TV?
This is cable TV news is what we're talking about, folks. These lies that you're seeing perpetrated, what's being shown on all of your networks right now? That's what was shown on TV. And these board members decided to construct a lie to destroy my character. Again, the governor needs to answer the questions. Did you tell these board members to come in here and do this? Did you coordinate with them afterwards to set all of this up after the fact when you couldn't disrupt the meeting, when you couldn't stop the agenda moving forward? A lot of questions need to be answered there.
So this TV doesn't have multiple inputs that you could, one input have cable on and another input have something you're casting to it on? Is this just a TV that somehow only can show cable TV?
We just had multiple investigations which showed none of my devices were ever connected to that TV. So what we've been able to show, again, the lies perpetrated by the networks, that anything from any of my devices were shown on a TV, anything of that nature, anything to that degree have been proven to be false. So I do expect to see that being reported.
The Sheriff's Office says that they have not concluded their investigation yet.
Okay.
And are you saying that none of your devices, but have they ruled out that couldn't have been someone else's device that casted something in that TV?
Guys, I'm telling you, I just met with the Sheriff's Office yesterday, and I met with them the day before. They've concluded there weren't devices connected to that. That was what was done in my office. That was what was done to look over everything. And so you can ask them when the final report comes out. But guys, we have worked with 2 independent agencies to put this issue to bed. And I know that the media is getting a lot of clicks off of it. I know that they're loving watching the character assassination. But the truth will win out. The truth has won out, and we're going to continue to talk about it.
These issues to bed. Yeah, but you know, Mr. Stiff Socks here, this guy, this fucking twerp, you know, he lied about being cleared by the sheriff's office, and then he said, and then he was called out, and he said, okay, and then he said, then he was asked specifically what was on the device, and he said, but listen to the misdirection. He said the sheriff's department concluded that none of my devices were connected to the television. Whether or not that's true is irrelevant. That's not the question that was asked.
Exactly.
Misdirection.
Exactly.
These people are shameless.
Yes,
absolutely
he's projecting.
Yeah,
He's so guilty.
Yeah, my God. I mean, this is, it's called consequences of your own actions, dude. You know?
I vote that we call him Captain Jizz Socks from now on.
What a sad sack. Anyway, let's play the rest of this.
Well, look, I don't know. I know it was cable TV that was on. Okay, so that's where you're looking at this from a perspective. And again, guys, I'm gonna tell you, this is why no one trusts the media. Go ask the board members why they would create such a fabrication. Go ask the governor's office how involved they were in this. This is an outright lie that is now proven to be false. And again, these individuals will stop at nothing to fight against the will of Oklahomans. Folks, I'm not going to stand for it. I will fight anybody that steps in my way along that path. Parents have demanded change. That change will happen. Thank you guys for your time.
Well, he noped out of there real fast.
He's guilty. He's guilty.
Yeah. Guilty as hell.
He's...
I've got another long clip of the actual people that were in the room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what they say. I bet our audience would love to hear what they say as well.
I have it sped up, so it's going to be, you know, you got to kind of go in, pay attention. There was no way I was going to play all 30 minutes of it in normal speed. It's just like, it's like listening to paint dry. It's like,
it's fine. It needs to be sped up to save brain cells.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand.
All right. Here we go.
In an exclusive interview with News 9, for the first time, we are talking with the State Department of Education board members who reported seeing inappropriate content on the television in the office of State Superintendent Ryan Walters. Joining us, Becky Carson and Ryan Dethridge. Thank you for joining us.
And we're also joined by a third board member, Mike Tinney, who was in the room and says he witnessed how Ryan Walters reacted when being called out about these images on Walters TV.
First, we're going to start with you, Becky and Ryan, because you were there. You saw what was on the TV. Becky, can you just kind of set the scene for me and how you saw these images on the television of the State Superintendent?
Yes, we had, we're in the middle of our executive meeting. At the beginning, we had a parent that had presented about a transfer and also a superintendent. They had left the room. Ryan and I were sitting on the table that would have been visible to the TV. We had continued to talk about some revocation of certificates for teachers. I had noticed the TV was on when I first came in the room, but I really didn't pay much attention to what was on it because been on before. The sound was not on, and I just was focused on doing the business we needed to do. And so at one point, after they left and we were talking about these issues, I had to make eye contact in that direction, and I was kind of in shock. I was like, what am I seeing? Are those women naked? And then, you try to convince yourself that you're not seeing what you're seeing. And I was like, maybe they're wearing a bodysuit. And so I'm like, let me really get a detailed look here. So I kind of moved forward a little bit, and I was like, no, they are fully unclothed women's body parts were visible.
So frontal nudity you
yes,
could see
yes.
on the television there. And Ryan, you were sitting right next to Becky. Were you observing the
It's
same
never
thing?
a
I was just sitting to the
bodysuit.
left of Becky, and I had probably seen it further on. I had actually noticed it the first time while the mother was talking to us about the transfer. I was in shock.
She's fully dressed.
Listen to this guy as he recounts. Just listen to the key words he says.
I was trying to figure out how to bring it up without embarrassing the whole board while this parent was in there. Really also kind of thinking, surely.
So he wasn't going to say anything because he didn't know how to bring it up. So he's like,
He was watching. He was watching. He didn't want to bring it up. He didn't want to address it. He wanted to see what the next scene was.
or how long it could play before it's found out.
Yeah.
I mean, what? I'm sorry.
To watch it to the conclusion.
These Christians are fucking wimp. This guy is supposed to be a leader,
Yeah.
right? He's supposed to be a man of God. He should have stood up and did something. Turn the television around so it's not facing anybody. But he just sat there watching it in horror.
He was doing something.
He was horrified. Horrified.
No, he was doing something. He was watching it to the conclusion. He wanted to see the end of it.
Well, he was certainly growing as an individual.
This is just going to go off and we'll be
that's
done.
a hard
And
one to
we'll
take.
have a conversation afterwards, man to man, and just say, hey, I saw this. But it just continued. And the time we got through all of that is when Miss Carson had actually made her comment. And
So describe the video again. Now, you knew clearly these were naked women. You described the video as being retro. It was kind of an older video, and that was obvious?
That was correct. It was an older video. It was more grainy. It wasn't vibrant in color. It was...
It was more when I see porn, it wasn't like the normal porn that I've seen. It was the quality was it harkened back to Happy Days. It harkened back to old television shows like MASH, like Gilligan's Island, and it was like Gilligan's Island but without all of the burdensome clothing. It was like, it reminded me of my days as a young boy. It brought back so much memories.
Do you think he got a raise out of that?
Yeah, well, he almost raised the table all by himself. Look, the point, it's...
I'm sorry.
Even though I'm sitting here in this
trying
chair,
to stay
I am giving
professional.
you a standing ovation. Look, the point is, good old boy sat there, and maybe he was growing in the nether region, and he couldn't. You know how it's difficult to stand up while erect, and it can be uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable. Maybe that's why he couldn't do anything.
I have no idea what it's like to stand with an erection, but I'm just going to have to take your word over it that it's a bit hard.
It's hard to describe.
I relate it maybe to Three's Company time frame, maybe MASH time frame. I could be off on that, but I'm just saying that was the kind of things. The style of the other clothing, that the ones that had clothes on, kind of reminded me of a wide red and white striped shirt. And one image I have in my mind is like a guy's got a white hat, kind of a Gilligan type hat, a boonie type hat, I think you would call it, possibly.
This is bringing a lot of memories back. This guy is going into detail. I mean, this guy has a lot to say about this, and I don't know. These yokels, I tell you what, I'm trying to figure out what's going on in her mind. I wish they would have just panned back so that they were both in frame. I wanted to see her expression as he's talking about this porn. Because, I mean, any normal woman would have just been like, just shut up about what type of porn it was. I mean, all of those words, and he could have said retro or what's another word for that era? No, not classic. I can't think of it. But this guy just kept going on and on. And I tell you what, this porn left a big impression on his mind. He's going to have a lot to think about in the days and weeks to come. I'll bet you this has been the highlight of the decade.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Wear off that you're seeing naked images, and then it's ready to say, kind of, what the heck's going on here?
I don't know that it actually wore off for me until we left.
Probably a truly orgasmic
So after the comment
experience
Ms.
for
Carson
him.
had made, I don't recall who made the comment is he did whatever he did and he came back. And what I mean by that is he executed the TV to be turned
state
off. The
superintendent
state superintendent turned off the TV at some. I don't even know if he turned it off or changed the channel. To be honest with you, I don't recall.
Let's just kind of jump back to, because Becky, you were the one who was vocalizing disgust or shock of what was going on. Tell me, what did you say? How
The
firm was
more
that?
I listen
and
to
what
this, the
happened? What was the
more
interaction after
bizarre
that?
It was
this
pretty firm.
interview gets.
And I've gone back over it in my head to think, if this had just been, the TV was a distraction, I probably would have just leaned over and said, hey, you want to go turn that TV off? It's a distraction. But I was in such a shock of what I was seeing, and to the point of almost feeling violated of what I was seeing, that I wouldn't say go on the attack, but I kind of basically treated him like a 15-year-old son.
What'd you say?
I said, what am I
Vintage.
watching? What is on your
Vintage
TV? Get it off
power.
now.
And what did he do? What did he do?
He was kind of looked at me, and then he turned around and he said, oh my gosh, what is that?
Vintage. That's
He
the
goes,
name
I gotta get
I
that
was
off.
looking
And he
for.
stood up, picked up the remote, and then he was like, I can't get it off. And he's fidgeting with it, and I said, get it off immediately. Get it off now.
Was his reaction the shock that you guys were feeling?
I don't think it was shock of the reaction of what he was seeing. I think it was his reaction to, I compare it to a teenage kid that's been caught doing something wrong.
And
Everybody
Ryan, do you
was
corroborate
turned
that
on
interaction?
at this
I mean, did
point.
Becky describe that as to the state superintendent's reaction in the room?
I did not see his reaction.
There was
I think
a
I
heavy
probably grabbed my
feeling
forehead and head fell because
the
it was
air.
like, oh my gosh. I obviously knew what she was talking about because I had seen it, and I think I probably kind of dropped my head and it was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And I don't know how to describe that. That was a shock factor that I don't know how to describe it except it was a shock factor. Anyway.
And Mike, yeah, go ahead.
These are very serious things we discussed in here. We were deep into our discussions, thinking about things that affected people's lives. And just suddenly, as she said, Becky exclaimed, oh my gosh, what is that? What is that? Those are naked people. And said,
my God.
And she
Oh
did
my
say, go
God.
turn that off. And
We have to
Mr.
pretend we've
Walters
never
just
seen
quickly
this
turned around,
before.
looked at it, and got out of his chair very rapidly. I couldn't hear what he said. I couldn't see where the TV was, what he did over there. But he went over there and apparently turned it off. He came back down, sat down in his chair, didn't say anything. And we were just kind of looked at each other like, what just happened? And then we just went back to work. Someone said something and said, had a question on the case, and we went right back to the case.
I think we are so grateful for your talking with us today here on News.
But it's not a dick. Why are they taking it so hard?
And my thing is, it's like, it became a normal day at the office. Like, they just went right back to work. No one mentioned, no one talked, no one said, hey, this was egregious what happened. Everybody just went right back to work. I'm like, everybody's having the wrong reaction. Everybody.
But isn't that what Christians do best? Sweep everything under the rug until they can't ignore it anymore?
Unless it's Democrats doing it, then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine, we're going to continue more of this conversation.
Much more to come throughout our 4 o'clock newscast. We appreciate you all being here. Coming up more on our conversation with these 3 OSDE board members. We also get their reaction on Ryan Walters' call for them to resign. Keep it here on News 9.
And more of our conversation now with the 3 board members who were at.
Here's where I go ahead and skip ahead. I didn't want to hear an entire repeat.
And what did he do?
He was kind of looked at me, and then he turned around and he said, oh my gosh, what is that? He goes, I've got to get that off. And he stood up, picked up the remote, and then he was like, I can't get it off. And he's fidgeting with it, and I said, get it off immediately. Get it off now.
I can't get it off.
The shock that you guys were
I
feeling?
can't get off.
One of the great challenges in this world.
The reaction of what he was seeing, I think it was his reaction to, I compare it to.
I don't know how to describe it except it was a shock factor. And anyway.
And Mike, yeah, go ahead.
These are very serious things we discussed in here. We were deep in.
Conversation now with the 3 board members who were at the State Department of Education meeting last Thursday. 2 of the members we've been talking with tell News 9 they saw nude images on the television of State Superintendent Ryan Walters. We are going to talk with them in a moment, but first, the news conference from Ryan Walters yesterday, basically with a bombshell of allegations from the state superintendent about the board members and even the governor.
Here's what Ryan make you feel. Let's get your reaction.
Well, I think my immediate reaction would be, as anybody's reaction would, whose character's been defamed in the public eye on TV. I do not plan on resigning at all. And the one thing that him and I can agree on is I hope we can get back to work to do the job that we were put there to do.
Ryan, this is the first time that you've heard any of that news conference.
When they talk about getting back to work for the parents of Oklahoma, what they're trying to say is we're going to continue pushing our narrative. We're going to continue with trying to shove religion down the kids' throats. We're going to continue banning books. We're going to continue all of these things. This is why the work will continue. This is just a hiccup. This is a hiccup, and it's going to go away. Oklahoma, you need to do better. You have a chance to get rid of these people on election day, but you can't bring yourselves to do it.
from the state superintendent. What is your initial reaction for his demeanor and the words that he said?
You know, I was watching it on the monitor here in front of me, and you know, I kind of take that personal. I think a normal person would take that personal. I take it as a privilege to serve the citizens of Oklahoma, but more importantly, the 700
I'll never
students,
forget where I
students
was
that are out
and
there in
what
Oklahoma.
time of day it was
And
when
I'm there to serve
those images flashed
until
before my eyes.
the governor actually asked me to step off that board or some other circumstance, I'm going to say and serve those children of Oklahoma.
What do you say to the fact that Ryan Walters basically was saying he was questioning, did the governor direct you board members to come up with this plan? Becky, what do you say to that?
Unequivocally, no. It's almost ludicrous that statement was said. I've never been asked by the governor to do anything except for serve on this board.
Mike, your thoughts on this being a huge conspiracy against Ryan Walters?
It's absolute nonsense. There's nothing whatsoever from the governor. Even in a world, if that existed, if it's some world where that might have happened, none of us would have done it anyway. I mean, that would have been the wrong thing to do. And I would like to add in for my colleagues here that when I heard what he had said about them, I was kind of thinking, okay, I didn't see it. Maybe I'm off the hook a little bit. But when I heard what he said about them, I said, I'm going to go with them because I know they're honest people. They're my colleagues. They would never lie. And I wanted to make sure that people know that about them.
Yeah, I'm sure it hurt yesterday. What you guys listened to what he had to say.
It was hard. It was difficult.
I'm still trying to absorb some of that as hearing the first time of that. I think probably Governor Stitt probably has better things to do than to talk to Ryan Dethridge.
Mm-hmm. All right. We, again, are grateful for you being here and telling us about what happened at the State Department of Education, the meeting inside the superintendent's office. And we will continue our conversation with these three board members and more on the comments made by the state superintendent.
That's coming up in our next block.
In an exclusive interview with News 9, for the first time, we are talking with the State Department of Education board members who reported seeing inappropriate content on the television in the office of State Superintendent Ryan Walters. Joining us, Becky Carson and Ryan Dethridge. Thank you for joining us.
And we're also joined by a third board member, Mike Tinney, who was in the room and says he witnessed how Ryan Walters reacted when being called out about these images on Walters TV.
First, we're going to start with you, Becky, and Ryan, because you were there. You saw what was on the TV. Becky, can you just kind of set the scene for me and how you saw these images on the television of the state superintendent?
Yes, we had, we're in the middle of our executive meeting. At the beginning, we had a parent that had presented about a transfer and also a superintendent. They had left the room. Ryan and I were sitting on the table that would have been visible to the TV. We had continued to talk about some revocation of certificates for teachers. I had noticed the TV was on when I first came in the room, but I really didn't pay much attention to what was on it because it's been on before. The sound was not on, and I just was focused on doing the business we needed to do. And so at one point, after they left and we were talking about these issues, I had to make eye contact in that direction, and I was kind of in shock. I was like, what am I seeing? Are those women naked? And then, you're trying to convince yourself that you're not seeing what you're seeing. And I was like, maybe they're wearing a bodysuit. And so I'm like, let me really get a detailed look here. So I kind of moved forward a little bit, and I was like, no, they are fully unclothed women's body parts were visible.
So frontal nudity you could see on the television there. And Ryan, you were sitting right next to Becky. Were you observing the same thing?
I was sitting to the left of Becky, and I had probably seen it further on. I had actually noticed it the first time while the mother was talking to us about the transfer. I was in shock. I was trying to figure out how to bring it up without embarrassing the whole board while this parent was in there. Really also kind of thinking, surely this is just going to go off and we'll be done and we'll have a conversation afterwards, man to man, and just say, hey, I saw this, but it just didn't.
Can you imagine this in normal speed?
Is when Ms. Carson had actually made her comment. And
so describe the video again. You knew clearly these were naked women. You described the video as being retro. It was kind of an older video, and that was obvious.
That was correct. It was an older video. It was more grainy. It wasn't vibrant in color.
It was.
I relate it maybe to Three's Company time frame.
This
maybe,
guy is still
MASH time frame.
about
I can be
what
off on that.
kind
I'm just saying that was the kind of thing. The style of the clothing that the ones that had clothes on kind of reminded me of a wide red and white striped shirt. And one image I have in my mind is like a guy's got a white hat, kind of a Gilligan type hat, a Booney type hat, I think you would call it possibly.
And so when does the shock wear off that you're seeing naked images and then it's ready to say, kind of, what the heck's going on here?
I don't know that it actually wore off for me until we left. So after the comment Ms. Carson had made, I don't recall who made the comment is he did whatever he did.
Damn
and he came back.
well
What I mean by that is
he had
executed
nothing
the TV,
to do.
the
state
superintendent turned off the TV. I don't even know if he turned
Somebody
it off
else
or changed the channel, to be honest with you. I don't recall.
Let's just kind of jump back to, because Becky, you were the one who was vocalizing disgust or shock of what was going on. Tell me, what did you say? How firm was that? And what happened? What was the interaction after that?
It was pretty firm. And I've gone back over it in my head to think, if this had just been, the TV was a distraction, I probably would have just leaned over and said, hey, you want to go turn that TV off? It's a distraction. But I was in such a shock of what I was seeing, and to the point of almost feeling violated of what I was seeing, that I wouldn't say go on the attack, but I kind of basically treated him like a 15-year-old son.
What'd you say?
I said, what am I watching? What is on your TV? Get it off now.
And what did he do? He was kind
of looked at me, and then he turned around and he said, oh my gosh, what is that? He goes, I've got to get that off. And he stood up, picked up the remote, and then he was like, I can't get it off. And he's fidgeting with it, and I said, get it off immediately. Get it off now.
Was his reaction the shock that you guys were feeling?
I don't think it was shock of the reaction of what he was seeing. I think it was his reaction to, I compare it to a teenage kid that's been caught doing something wrong.
And Ryan and Mike, do you corroborate that interaction? I mean, did Becky describe that as to the state superintendent's reaction in the room?
I did not see his reaction. I think I probably grabbed my forehead and head fell because it was like, oh my gosh. I obviously knew what she was talking about because I had seen it, and I think I probably kind of dropped my head and it was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And I don't know how to describe that. That was a shock factor that I don't know how to describe it except it was a shock factor.
These are very serious things we discussed in here. We were deep into our discussions, thinking about things that affected people's lives, and just suddenly, as she said, Becky exclaimed, "Oh my gosh, what is that? What is that? Those are naked people." And she said, "Go turn that off." And Mr. Walters just quickly turned around, looked at it, and got out of his chair very rapidly. I couldn't hear what he said. I couldn't see where the TV was, what he did over there.
What if they were reenacting a scene of Adam and Eve, and
sat down in his chair, didn't say anything,
porn?
and we were just kind of looked at each other like, what just happened?
Come on.
And then we just went back to work. Someone said something and said, had a question on the case, and we went right back to the case.
Okay. I think we are so grateful for your talking with us today here on News 9. We're going to continue more of this conversation.
Much more to come throughout our 4 o'clock newscast. We appreciate you all being here. Coming up more on our conversation with these 3 OSDE board members. We also get their reaction on Ryan Walters' call for them to resign. Keep it here on News 9.
And welcome back as we continue our conversation here on News 9 in an exclusive interview with board members who were at the State Department of Education's executive session last week with Superintendent Ryan Walters, and 2 of our guests today telling us that they did see inappropriate images on the television there inside the executive office of Ryan Walters. Thank you so much again for being with us today.
Yeah, I want to take you back to the moment. We're going to hear from more of what Ryan Walters had to say coming up, but I do want to take you back to that Thursday morning in executive session. You see these images. It's clear what they are. You're looking at nude women during an executive meeting here. And you're in shock. At the same time, you're a little surprised by Ryan's behavior, Ryan Walters' behavior. Why were you surprised? Because he seemed to be, as you put it, unapologetic.
I would say I was more than a little surprised. It was almost as bad as when I saw his reaction to it. Is that, let's go back to meeting in the classroom. This was before Kid YouTube and all that was available. And if I wanted to show a YouTube video that went along with my teaching, you can't help sometimes that a ticker might come up under there and might have a foul language on it, and you're getting it off as quick as possible. And if it ever did happen, I immediately apologized to the children, and I would call parents and say, they may have seen this. I apologize, this happened. And there was none of that.
These fuckwits would apologize profusely to the parents if they showed anything in school that had a swear word in it and they couldn't bleep it out fast enough. They're so concerned that they would call parents and then they turn around and vote for a rapist.
Yep. Oh,
they've got no problem voting for somebody who attacks women.
Exactly. Not to mention all the violence that's in the Bible. Are they going to apologize about all that?
Yeah, imagine reading a story about a woman getting gang raped and then fainting, falling dead at the prophet's door. And then the prophet cuts this woman up in 12 pieces and sends each piece to all 12 tribes of Israel. Imagine reading a story like that. That gets a pass. That's okay. I'm done with this. I'm not playing anymore. I've got 7 minutes left of this clip. I'm done. I'm not playing any more of these morons.
My brain thanks you.
Yeah. So I'm not going to get into it, but basically at the end they said they were asked, why did you decide to turn him in? Why didn't you just talk to him behind closed doors? And they said, well, basically Becky, I guess her name is, she said that was the only way we could get a fair investigation. That was the only way. Imagine Christians can't even hold themselves accountable, correct? They have to go and call the, whatever. It's whatever. And this, it's an endless story of hypocrisy. It's never ending. You've got preachers that abuse children, rape children, abuse them. You've got preachers that will go up in the pulpit on Sunday, even though they've raped a teenage girl. And it doesn't really bother them very much, They're okay with it. But it's just sad. You've got all of these preachers that all of these Christians are okay with sending sending undocumented people to alligator Alcatraz. They're okay with them dying in custody. And then they'll go and talk about this and say how bad porn is. You know, this we're going to draw the line here, and we got to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And yet, these are the kinds of people that have a death grip on Oklahoma. Oklahoma is controlled by the right wing. It's like a bigger Idaho. Why are they 50th? And then later on in the interview, basically they said, well, we're willing to roll our sleeves up and we want to get to the bottom of why we're 50th. It's like, you people are why the state is 50th. You people sitting in those chairs. Well, we're going to stand up for morality and we're going to turn in our boss for porn. You people are the reason you're number 50 in education.
Yep.
The more religious people are, the more radical and dumber they get. Look at them. Look at the correlation. Go to Europe. Go to Asia. Any country. The further away from God they get, it's like, wow. The intelligence levels are way up. Look at their people. And of course, they're going to bring up China, godless China, and how terrible it is and how authoritarian. It's like the last time one of their provinces flooded with over 1 million people in it, not a single person died in the flooding.
Exactly.
Can Texas say the same?
Nope.
They take care of their people better than we do. That is an embarrassment. An authoritarian regime like China, they take care of their people better than we do. That is atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our quality of life is almost on par with third world countries. That is sad.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you want the entire country to look like Oklahoma and be 50th, keep voting Republican. The dumbest, poorest states in this country are Republican strongholds, bar none. P, did you have anything to add after my explosive diarrhea of the mouth?
No, you're completely fine. I agree with everything you said, and I do think they're a contradiction. They're purposely cutting kids off from having a proper, decent education where they can learn proper things. They are literally glorifying and promoting the Bible that has got multiple acts of violence that it condones. Sacrifice, human sacrifice, animal sacrifice, rape, murder, genocide, criminal punishment. And they support that. Like, why is the Bible not banned in schools yet? Why books that are actually educating children have been banned yet? Something so vile and violent as the Bible is allowed
I mean, people that behave like some of the characters that get praised in it.
Yeah.
If our kids behave that way, we would have a long sit down with them. Hell, we might even consider spanking them out of desperation.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bible is just replete with terrible people doing terrible things and then praised by God. But anyway, we've got to wrap the show up. This was a wonderful show going on about the hypocrisy in Oklahoma, and we will keep you abreast of future developments that might arise.
Now, I just want everyone to know there is absolutely nothing wrong with watching porn, if you're a consenting adult, you can watch as much porn as you want. Just please, time and place. There is always a time and place for watching porn.
We object to the hypocrisy of it all. That's what we object to. You say it's a moral failing. You say that porn is destroying this country. We've become like Sodom and Gomorrah. And here the fuck you are watching it in your own office. You're a fucking hypocrite, and you are full of shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Biblical History Skeptics, now skeptically speaking. We'd appreciate you considering to support us. Cash App, Venmo, Patreon. Please become a member. And you can follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, and Substack. And
please like, share, subscribe.
I forgot to include Facebook. We are on Facebook, are we not?
Yes, we are. And I have might have talked skeptically in to letting me do a Labubu unboxing. Not today,
we're gonna have a Labubu
another time.
Okay.
Yeah.
A Labubu unboxing.
Yeah.
And we're also on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble.
Yes.
Because we love to punish ourselves.
No, it's because we're trying to reach a very diverse audience, and if we are able to help change your mind about a few things to point you in the right direction, then,
Oh, is that what we're telling ourselves?
Yeah.
That's all right. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care, everybody.